Regulating your nervous system is not a wellness trend. It's essential. It's the single most important thing that you can do right now if you're a mission-driven professional who wants to create a bigger reality for yourself, for your organization, and for the communities that you serve. I know that might sound like a bold statement and surprising, so stay with me here, because by the end of this episode, you're going to understand exactly why, and more importantly, exactly how. Take a walk with me now from the top of this mountain down to a horse herd, where I'll map it out with pen and paper so it's really clear. Going through this gate now. I want to talk with you about something that not enough people in the impact sector are talking about openly. You're carrying an extraordinary weight, not just the weight of your mission, the housing initiatives, the climate, the young people in underserved communities who are counting on the programs that you're fighting to fund and sustain. That weight is real. And you carry it with a level of dedication that most people cannot comprehend. But here's what I observe over and over in my work with impact leaders. The very passion that makes you extraordinary at what you do. It's also quietly destroying your capacity to create the reality that you know is possible. Now let me paint a picture. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet hit the floor, the mental list has already started. The funding gap, the board meeting, the grant report that's due, the partnership negotiation that isn't moving, the team member who needs support that you don't quite have enough bandwidth to give. And underneath all of that, underneath the calendar and the strategy and the stakeholder management, there's a quiet, persistent hum. Are we going to make it? Is this going to be enough? Am I doing enough? Am I good enough to do this? But you push through because that's what leaders do. You perform confidence in the funder meeting. Even when you walked in exhausted, you speak with certainty about a 3-year vision, while privately wondering if the organization will even be solvent in 6 months in these crazy times. You take care of your team's needs while quietly shelving your own. And the body keeps score, the jaw that's tight by 10 a.m., the shallow breathing you don't notice until you're in the shower, the faster heartbeat, the way sleep doesn't actually restore you anymore, the Sunday dread, the grief you feel for the mission when a campaign ask falls short, the grief you don't have time to process, you have to keep moving on, so you convert it into a longer to-do list and more focused effort and intention. This is what high-functioning burnout looks like in the impact sector. It's invisible to the people around you. It's invisible to most funders. It may even be invisible to you because you are so good, so extraordinarily good at performing with capability. But it is not invisible to your nervous system. And it is not entirely invisible to the people across the table when you're asking for $1 million gift, a 7-figure grant, a headline sponsorship. Some part of them can sense it. We'll come back to that. It's important. Let me ask you something. Is this what you want? Do you want to spend the next 3, 5, 10 years of your career showing up as a slightly depleted, maximally managed version of yourself and doing incredibly important work, but doing it from a place that costs you more than it should? Do you want to keep white-knuckling your way to impact, running on adrenaline, caffeine, and commitment, while the body and the mind that make your leadership even possible are quietly running down? Do you want to walk into that most important stakeholder conversation about the last week's crisis and wonder at some level why the energy in the room doesn't quite match the quality of your pitch? I didn't think so. Here's what I think you actually want. You want to wake up in the morning with genuine energy, not manufactured urgency, but real energy that comes from a nervous system that has actually recovered and a mind that's connecting really well with others. You want to walk into a funding conversation feeling connected and inhabiting your full credibility, not performing confidence, being it, radiating it, so that the people across the table feel it without quite knowing why. That this leader, this organization, this mission is the one that they want to invest in. Now you want your vision to feel possible again, not in a desperate please let this work kind of way, but in the grounded, magnetic, this is inevitable way that great leaders project when they're operating from a regulated, resourced nervous system. You want to lead your team, your board, your community from a place of genuine presence so that people who follow you feel your steadiness, not your strain. That's the reality that you're here to create. And your nervous system is either your greatest ally in creating it, or it's the invisible ceiling that keeps capping what's possible. I'm Adriana Dakin, and I want to tell you a little bit about why I care so deeply about this specific intersection, the nervous system regulation and the creation of professional impact. Because I'm not coming to you as someone who just read the research and built a curriculum. I'm coming to you as someone who has lived this anxious pattern I just described and found her way out of it. Now, years ago on my wedding day, my then colleague Kath gave simple sage advice to feel my 10 toes on the ground if I got nervous. I walked down the grassy aisle toward the lake where our guests were seated, and my future husband was waiting and waiting and waiting because there was a problem with the shuttle vans bringing people up to the lake. I was feeling nervous walking down, and then I remembered to feel my 10 toes on the ground. And from that split second onward, I enjoyed every single moment of my wedding day with presence and open-hearted joy about being surrounded by all these good people. And now I've learned why that worked. In the positive intelligence method that I'm trained in, it's a method created by Shirzad Shamin, the chairman of CTI, the largest coach training organization in the world. Now, in her Inner Edge coaching program, my friend and coach Cynthia Smith teaches this method, how to use positive intelligence to bring oneself from distraction and stress to presence and celebration. And the method teaches how to do simple positive intelligence repetitions, reps, that bring you to your present moment and your soma or body, similar to feeling your 10 toes on the ground. You can feel yourself sitting in your seat. You can put your fingertips together with such attention to detail that you feel the ridges of your fingertips. Or if you're walking and running, you can feel your breath in and out. You come to the moment with real presence and feel what's happening in the moment. So next time you feel some anxiety, do one of these tips to bring yourself present, because you are enough to handle the challenge when you are fully present. And that's the state that you need for making good decisions that are powerful for reaching your optimal outcomes. Now, if you practice nervous system regulation like this regularly, then when you really need it, like some kind of disaster strikes, such as when a stressed boss or a board member is saying something blameful, then you can stay present in the moment and know how to speak up. Now, what moved the needle for me most profoundly was my training and coaching work as a transformational mindset facilitator through the David Bayer method. I had done so much work running strategy after strategy, digital audits, campaigns for UNHCR, for Move On, for others. But it was this training that gave me something that no professional achievement ever had, a real system for understanding exactly how beliefs ultimately create reality to a degree, and a practice for regulating the nervous system so that your nervous system can actually work. Look at you. That training gave me something no professional achievement ever had. It was a system for understanding exactly how beliefs can help to shape reality in some ways, and a practice for regulating the nervous system so your system can actually work. When I brought that to my work with impact leaders, when I sat across from visionaries doing the most important work of our time, I watched them transform immediately, measurably, in ways that showed up in their fundraising results, their team culture, their own well-being. And that's why I'm here. The people that I work with are not small thinkers. They're pioneering, visionary impact leaders. They're running organizations that are genuinely moving the needle on the most urgent challenges of our time. Now, I'm talking about leaders that are building and growing solutions to house the unhoused, navigating the intersection of policy, philanthropy, and community trust in one of the most complex spaces in the social sector. They're leaders at the frontier of climate finance, mobilizing the kind of capital that actually has a chance of shifting the trajectory of the planet while managing boards, investor relationships, and the relentless pressure of a ticking clock. Pastors building resilience in inner-city youth, doing the daily, often invisible work of holding space for young people whose circumstances most funders have never personally encountered, while simultaneously writing grant reports, managing compliance and regulations. These are people who are already extraordinary. They're already doing things that most people cannot even imagine doing. They come to be not because something is broken, but because they know at some level that there's a ceiling that they keep bumping against, and they sense correctly that the ceiling is not just external. It's not the funding landscape necessarily. It's not the political environment entirely. It's not the capacity of the communities that they serve. The ceiling is in the nervous system, in the old beliefs running quietly underneath the strategy, in the gap between the vision that they carry and the internal state from which they're trying to create it, and the powerful vision that they can bring, leading to the action plan that brings it to reality. Now, this is the power of decision. It's the foundation of the transformational mindset facilitator method that I'm trained and certified in. And it's the most clear, practical map that I have ever seen for understanding exactly how your inner world creates the outer world results. Now, let me walk you through it. It starts here with beliefs, not the beliefs that you consciously hold, not the ones that you write in your strategic plan or your leadership philosophy statement. I'm talking about the old beliefs, the ones installed before you had the cognitive capacity to evaluate them. The ones that say things to you like, there's never quite enough money. I have to earn my place in every room. If I slow down, something will fall apart. Or asking for what I need is a vulnerability that I really can't afford right now. Those beliefs, they're running below the level of your awareness, and they generate thoughts. So beliefs lead to thoughts. Not intentional, strategic thoughts, but automatic thoughts, like the internal commentary that runs all day long, like this might not work out. That funder seemed uncertain. Did I say the right thing? Is this enough? Those thoughts generate feelings. And here is where the nervous system enters the picture. Because feelings, they're physiological events. Feelings are the body's response to thought. When the thought is threat-coded, when the belief underneath says, not enough, not safe, not certain, the feeling that follows activates the sympathetic nervous system. Urgency, low-grade anxiety, the state of being perpetually braced for what might happen. And that physiological state generates actions from a stressed, contracted, survival-coded system are fundamentally different from actions taken from a regulated, resourced nervous system. Am I right? They are faster but less creative, more defensive but less magnetic, more reactive but less visionary. And those actions generate results. Do you see what this means? When your nervous system is dysregulated, when the old beliefs are running the show below the surface, you're not creating reality from your highest vision, you're creating reality from your oldest wound. And the results, the funding gap, the partnership that doesn't quite close, the team dynamic that keeps cycling, they're not evidence that you're not good enough. They're evidence of what happens when extraordinary people try to build extraordinary things from a nervous system in survival mode. To help with this, my co-leader Abigail and I are offering an impact workroom that's an online, collaborative, global space to work with other impact professionals who want to be centered, productive, connected, and energized. This is a space where you can work on your beliefs and make new decisions, identifying the specific old stories that are generating the automatic thought patterns. Instead, you can genuinely have new beliefs that the nervous system can actually embody. So in workroom breakouts, after we do Pomodoro sessions with each person doing their own work, whatever needs to be done, we work with feelings like building somatic literacy so that impact leaders can recognize a nervous system activation event, name it, and regulate it in real time. For example, in the middle of a board meeting, before a major funder call, in the moment when a team conflict triggers an old pattern. And then we watch the actions change naturally, without forcing, without willpower. Because when the beliefs shift and the nervous system learns what safety actually feels like, the actions that flow from that regulated state, are categorically different, more creative, more grounded, more magnetic. Which brings me to something I want to be very specific about, because I think it's one of the most underappreciated dynamics in the entire world of impact work. Your nervous system is broadcasting all the time without your permission, without your awareness. The funders across the table, like the major gift officers, the program directors, the foundation trustees, the corporate sponsors, they cannot read your grant proposal the way that you can. They cannot evaluate your theory of change that you carry. They did not have your years of sector experience, but they do have nervous systems themselves, and nervous systems recognize other nervous systems. When you walk into that room carrying unprocessed urgency, even brilliantly managed urgency, they feel it. They may not be able to name it. They will call it like a gut feeling. They'll say that the proposal was strong, but something felt off. They'll defer to the next cycle. They'll ask for one more meeting. But when you walk in regulated, genuinely grounded, genuinely present, genuinely certain because you have done the work, you have lived this life and you know it fully, and you're not performing certainty, but you're being it, something different happens. The energy in the room shifts. Your body language opens, your voice drops, your eye contact deepens. You stop pitching and start inviting. You stop seeking approval and start offering partnership. And the people across the table feel it at a cellular level, that this is someone to follow. This is a mission worth backing. This is a leader who knows where they are going. This is why horses have always been one of my greatest teachers in this work, and I'm here every week on this hilltop. You cannot fool a horse with a polished deck and a compelling narrative. They read your nervous system very directly, and they respond with distance or closeness based entirely on what they feel in you. One time my horse, Sophie, she had enough trust to lay down next to me in the moonlight when I had sat down. And it was incredible. Now, funders are not so different. The difference between a pitch that closes and one that stalls is often not the quality of the proposal. It is the quality of the presence behind it. So regulating your nervous system is not self-care only. It's not just a luxury. It is also a deep fundraising strategy. It's a leadership strategy. It's a reality creation strategy. And it's available to you right now. And if you have children, your kids will thank you as well. And your partner, it's a relationship builder. If this is landing for you, if you're recognizing your own nervous system in what I've described today, then I want to make sure that you know about the resource in the description below. It's a starting point for going deeper with this work, specifically designed for impact professionals who are ready to close that gap between the vision that they carry and the reality that they're creating in their communities. And you don't have to figure this out alone. You can do it with peers who are doing the same thing and learn from experts who can help you regulate your nervous system. You don't have to white knuckle your way to bigger impact. The link is in the description. Please take advantage of it. It's there for you. Here is what I want you to take away from today. Your nervous system is not a symptom of the hard work that you're doing. It's the source from which all of your work flows. The old beliefs, the not enough, not safe, not certain, they were installed before you knew better. They're not the truth for right now, and they are not permanent. With the power of decision, this can become really clear. When you change what you believe, you change what you think. When you change what you think, you change what you feel. And when you change what you feel, when your nervous system learns what it actually feels like to be safe, resourced, and enough, then your actions change. And then if your actions change, your results change to ones that are optimal. Not because you worked harder, because you finally stopped working against yourself. You're carrying one of the most important missions of our time. The communities you serve, the unhoused families, the young people in inner cities, the planet that's depending on climate solutions that you're helping, they need you regulated. They need you present. They need you creating your highest vision, not your oldest fear. And you deserve that too. Not just as a strategy, as a human being who's doing just extraordinary work in the world. If today's episode resonated with you, I have two other I think you're going to want to watch. The first is called 5 Signs of Nervous System Healing That High Achievers May Miss, because often the healing is already happening and we don't recognize it. That video will help you to see it. The second is a guided practice, Vagus Nerve Reset Meditation, somatic practice for deep nervous system renewal. It's there for you if you want to experience a full nervous system reset, not just to understand it. I filmed it by a river, and I think you'll love the sound of the river. That is a great place to start, and you can go to them from right here. I'll see you in the next episode.